You guys have a good day. I got film to watch.
Oh, now they all are hitting the button. Every single one of them. John Hale. Eddie, after you watched the film from the scrimmage on Saturday, what kind of stood out to you offensively, and have you started to zero in on the two deep or whatever that you're going to go into week one with?
Yeah, I think after the ones had two series, and we converted a third down with a penalty. Just the discipline part, that was a little bit was a movement by a wide receiver, and we converted it, and so that stopped that drive. We had some good things going on there, and then on the second one, we had a huge run, and we had a holding. So we had gotten it down to maybe the 10. He might have even scored, but to have two drives in penalties, that was a little frustrating. But I thought we did some good things. We are narrowing it down right now to a two deep, and kind of that's where we're at right now.
When you look at evaluating that two deep, is quarterback, is that contingent upon how things go with Joey, or do you feel like Bo, I mean, at this point, is maybe the guy that you have to put behind there because of just circumstances?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's contingent on what happens. We're still at every position, especially that position. We got to keep evaluating every day. We're going live situations, not live, but we're going as game-like situations as we can the last 2 days, and have really seen some great things by all three of them. So we'll just continue to do what we're doing, and we'll make a decision when we know.
Nick?
Have you started implementing the Auburn game plan into practice? And if so, what kind of things does Mark's defense do that kind of mirrors what their defense does?
Well, we've been Auburn for a while now. We've, through COVID and through everything, we've been watching them and game planning them. And so as we've been going against our defense, we're putting some stuff in that, Brad and I get together and we give looks to each other what Auburn does offensively, and I'll give it to him fastball, and then vice versa. I'll get some similarities what we do on defense that they do. So that's great work for us, because when you split it up and you go scout teams, sometimes you don't get that fastball look. So we've kind of managed that ourselves. So that's really helped us here the last week.
John Long?
Eddie, how does this team compare to others you've had, and how quickly they've been able to learn the offense? I mean, other than smart players, what factors determine how quickly a team is able to pick up your different offensive schemes?
I think us as a group going into our fifth season, I think that's the biggest part because of the terminology and philosophy. That's changed, whether it be mid-season, the beginning of the season, and we've had to change and adapt. But I think for the base offense, they knew it. I mean, with those 10 OTAs that we had, basically that helped us from the stuff that we missed from the spring. And I really just felt like this group, because of their maturity and they're smart and they'd been in it for a long time, that we could move forward. And Coach Stoops thought the same. So we put it all out there. I mean, it's the most since I've been here that we have in my 5 years.
John Clay?
Eddie, you say you tell the players, make me play you. Has there been anybody in this camp that's really kind of turned your head? Maybe somebody that you weren't necessarily counting on, but is making a run and getting some playing time who you didn't expect?
Yeah, I think one of them would be DeMarcus Harris. He's come on and done a really good job. Bryce Oliver would have been one, for sure. He's one. He's been working his tail off. I think Juton McLean, he's a guy that every day he brings it, and he's a guy that could be tough to leave off the field, and we'll see how it goes. And it's 10 long games, and they're some of these freshmen now. They hit a wall, and you can see some of them coming out of it now. So we'll continue to just keep practicing them and see how far along they come with the freshmen.
Larry.
Eddie, with the four offensive linemen you've got back, obviously a lot of talk about them, and should be. But how are some of their backups coming along? Has there been some guys that have kind of jumped out at you that have made big steps? You know, they may not get to play a lot because of who's in front of them.
I think, really, Jeremy Flax, just here in the last 3 days, is really coming along. Really like where he's at right now. And then Quentin Wilson, I think we could put him in at any time, and he can relieve at the center position and guard positions. So really been impressed with those guys right now.
Thanks.
Josh.
What have you seen from him in this camp that's kind of, it seems like a guy, I don't know that I didn't think coming in he was going to be a name we were going to be talking about a little bit, and it seems like he's really pushed himself into the conversation there on the O-line.
Who did you say?
Austin Dodson.
Yeah, Austin's had his best camp since he's been here. He's pass protecting a lot better. He's one of those guys that has worked his way up to being a guy that'll play and play a lot. His technique is just really changed, and I really love where he's at.
Lonnie.
It's been a lot of talk about the many receivers. You talk about, I already talked about one. One I want to ask you about is Alan Daley. He's a nice sized guy, and he's shown to be quite physical. He don't mind blocking somebody and all. But it's what is his best asset beyond those things I just mentioned?
The biggest thing for him is his toughness. Knows the offense. Coach Stoops and I were actually talking about him the other day. He made a great catch and bodied up on a guy, and so he's physical. I love his physicality, not only in the perimeter and the run game, but there's a lot of things we can do in this offense that he will be really good at for us. So he's been another one that, I haven't mentioned him here, but he's just been solid. He's been doing everything right, and he'll have some balls that he'll get caught this year, so it'll be good for him. He brings that kind of lunch pail mentality to that group.
Thank you.
John Hale.
Eddie, kind of irregardless of his waiver status, what have you seen from Joey in terms of his progress? I think when he transferred the book he was a work in progress as a thrower, but was such a talented runner. Just how has he kind of grown that part of his game since he got here?
I think that's the biggest thing is what you're saying right there. He's so tall and he's big over that line, and he sees things that maybe some other quarterbacks don't see. And, and it's a learning process for him and Bo, anybody that's new. And it's a lot to be thrown at you, especially when we didn't slow down. It's a little different for those guys because we threw it all up on the wall. So for the quarterbacks, it's been a little bit slower, but you can see it happening right now with Joey. He's making good decisions, and he's just got such a strong arm, and he sees over everything. He can make some throws some of the other ones can't.
All right, we got one more from Nick.
There's been a lot of weird things this year. You got to watch 2-3 weeks of other football teams play before you get to start. Was there anything you picked up over the weekend, like, we can't make the same mistakes that this team did?
Yeah, I think, Coach kind of alluded it to the players that, number one, special teams, that's going to be a huge deal in these games. You look at the NFL that didn't have some preseason games and some things that happened there, and then college football and the special teams. I think the biggest thing is you're hearing everything out there. I saw a bunch of defenses jump off sides, offensively. It's really just about the execution of it, for us is being able to block, and it sounds cliche, but you got to block, you got to take care of the football, and you got to throw and catch when you have the opportunity to do so. So, it's a little bit weird seeing it without fans, but heck, we don't have fans out here, and we had a pretty good practice today.
All right, everybody. We'll get players up for shortly.
Thank y'all.